Let's begin winding down trade. It's got to go down as a very quiet one, although towards the latter part we managed to pick up just that wee bit. Still just, clinging on to that 11,450 mark. 480 is where we're actually shutting shop in the futures. The BRAT not by a huge margin, but it's managed to close in favor of the advances. It's been Idea, it's been Z, BPCL, Bajaj Finance and Grasim which have managed to actually hold on. Pivot's got Mindtree ahead of its numbers. That's looking a solid 3% up in the green. Nestle has shaped up very smartly. If we can just bring up the intraday graphs for some of these, Nestle has managed to close at the high point of the day, a solid 2% move coming in there. Wipro reacted very positively to its numbers, and Hexaware as well, which goes home with about 1.5% in the green. Some more selling for Indiabulls Housing Finance, 13% lower there. M&M Finance, Federal Bank reacted to its numbers, recovered from the lows, still down by about 3%. Castrol as well as Torrent Pharma have been some of the other laggards in trade. You could add to that a Chola Finance and Exide as well, which has lost about 3%.
Right, when we just look at the mid-cap names, so the mid-cap index did give up a lot of its gains in the end. But overall, if we look, Bajaj Consumer, the stock of the day was up around 20-odd%. That's a ET Now exclusive that got confirmed, 20% higher, 244. Both the insurance or the general insurance player like New India Assurance, GIC RE were up 20% each. MMTC up 10%, Edelweiss up about 8-odd%, Jamuna Auto up about 8%, and Venky's up close to about 6-odd%. Imami went up about 6% at 320 rupees. You had a SBI Life up around 5-odd%. That's a results reaction. Suntech up around 4.5-odd%. That's also a real estate major that probably markets had forgotten, but today it did decently well. Delta Corp up around 4-odd%. You had a Chambal Fertilizer up close to 3%. You had a BPCL up 4%. You had a PNC Infra up 4%. Ashoka Buildcon up around 4.5-odd%. So that also did well. Ashok Leyland up about 3.5%. Bajaj Finance up 3.7%. Mind you, that's a big stock, 4% higher, close to 4,000, above 4,000 level towards closing. CED did well with 3% gains, and Sudarshan Chemical, it lost out yesterday, but I think in today's trading session it made up for most of the losses that it did. PNB Housing Finance, no particular news flow, down around 12-odd%. Really no news flow that I can pick up on this name, but slowly and steadily the stock is continuously going down. You have Indiabulls Housing down 10%, 168. I think it's a new low for Indiabulls Housing. It was getting some support around 185, but I think today it really gave up all those levels. Indiabulls Ventures down about 10%, Bandhan Bank down 6%, Jain Irrigation down 5%, and Indo Solar also lost out about 5%, 181.